Did you know, on average, 97% of your e-commerce store visitors leave without making a purchase? That's a lot of missed opportunities. But here's the good news. With the right retargeting strategy, you can bring those visitors back and turn them into loyal customers. And it's really easy to set this up in Google Ads. Hi, I'm Daryl, and today I'm going to teach you how to set up and optimize a high-converting retargeting campaign in Google Ads. But this isn't just a boring tutorial, I'm also going to share some advanced strategies that I've used with e-commerce brands to scale their sales and boost their return on ad spend. Here's how today's video is going to flow. First, I'll do a quick screen share to walk you through the basics of setting up a retargeting campaign the right way. Then I'm going to share 6 pro-level strategies that will help you get the most out of your campaigns. So stick around because this is going to be packed with actionable tips that you can implement right away. Alright guys, so here we are in a Google Ads account, and before we go and create a new campaign, what we're actually going to do first is to set up our audiences correctly so that they're there and ready and waiting for us when we get into the campaign creation process. So what you want to do here is you first want to come to Tools, and then under Tools, it's under Shared Library, and you want to go to Audience Manager. This is where we can pre-populate our retargeting audiences and make sure that they're the right ones, right? So you can see we've got a bunch of audiences already in here, but what you want to do is create a new website visitors audience. Now, if you've never done this before, you might see some audiences pre-populated in your account. It might say like cart abandoners and homepage viewers or all visitors. That's often pre-populated, depending on also whether you've connected to Google Analytics 4 or not, is going to determine which pre-populated audiences are in there. Now, I recommend you don't actually use the pre-populated audiences, even if they look right. I recommend you go through this process and set them up yourself manually, because then you can be sure that they're correct. Sometimes the pre-populated audiences that Google builds for you are wrong. They're not set up the right way. So let's go ahead and build out a cart abandoners audience. And for cart abandoners, I might want to go all the way up to 90 days. So here's where you can decide how long the audience runs for. And what I would do is call your segment name after the audience name. And then also put in the time frame that you chose down here. That's really useful to know when we're referring to this later on. And what we want to do then is we want to create a URL-based rule that makes sure that this audience is correct. So refine action, and then I would normally do this through page URL rules, right? So like, for example, on this particular campaign, I might know that my checkout includes the words checkout within the URL, and I know that that word isn't included in any other URL on my site that isn't part of the checkout process, right? So use logic like this to create URL rules to narrow down your audience. Put in the number of days there as well. You can also optionally do this. Doesn't really make much of a difference, like customer type. What type of customer is this? In this case, we're doing cart abandoners, so we can just put that in there. Doesn't make a huge difference really. It's just like a category setting within Google. It's pretty new actually. And then pre-fill options. I do recommend pre-filling with people who match the rules within the past 30 days, unless there's some problem with your data over the past 30 days. And you can put in an optional description here if you want, but normally the title pretty much says it all. And then you just click save to create this segment, and then you want to go and repeat this process for all the other audiences that I recommend you create. You can skip forward to the next section of this video where I actually go into a bit more depth on which audiences to create and what time frames to do each of them for. Now, once your audience is created, you can go into the campaign setup process. So you want to come here and go create a new campaign. We want to go sales, purchases, yes please, continue. Campaign type, so we are going to be running a display campaign type. So these retargeting campaigns are a display format of campaign. And then you want to put in your website here. And continue. Name your campaign. So I would just normally call it something like display and then RTG. Ew, I don't want to use my previous draft. So make sure that your location settings are accurate. So in a lot of cases, you might be wanting to go after United States. And languages set to English. Yep, all good there. Now, this is really important. Under more settings, dynamic ads, absolutely, definitely want to fill this out. So make sure that your Google Merchant Center is connected to Google Ads. If you're an e-commerce advertiser, you're probably already doing that because that's how you generate shopping ads. And this little tick box here is what kind of makes or breaks your retargeting campaign, to be honest, for e-commerce. So make sure it's ticked, and then make sure to select the correct product feed for you. And usually you don't want to use any filters. You just want it to be able to access all the products. And this little setting here is how we tell Google to use your product feed and to dynamically generate ads based off of your product feed. And this in turn is what is going to enable the retargeting campaign to show people the exact products that they had been viewing on your site. So you've probably all seen this type of retargeting before. You browse some products on the site, and then like an hour later, you go on any old random website on the internet, and there are the ads showing you the exact things that you browsed on the website. So this is how you enable that, and it's really important to do because this is what drives most of the performance in e-commerce retargeting campaigns. Okay, so let's go to the next section. Budget and bidding. So I recommend you start out with a relatively low budget for you, depending on the size of your website. But if you've got a fairly small website, then just start with something low, 25 bucks, 50 bucks, maybe even 10 bucks if you've got like a really small site. And at the beginning, you probably just want to go for maximized conversion value without a target return on ad spend. And then it will just get you as much revenue as it can for 25 bucks per day, or however many dollars per day you want to spend on retargeting. And I recommend you be really patient with this, especially if your website is small. And in that time, before you've got a lot of conversions, like before you've got 20, 30, 40, 50 conversions, you can just control the pace of the campaign through the daily budget. So if it spends the 25 bucks per day, and then after like a month, you notice, oh, the ROAS is a bit low, then you just decrease that daily budget, right? And then that will make the ROAS go higher. On the flip side, if after the first month you notice, wow, my ROAS is sky high, like I'm getting 2000% ROAS, oh, I wish I could have spent more, then just increase the daily budget. It will spend more, the ROAS will come down a bit, but that's fine because you're really, really high. So you can at this stage, you control the ROAS of the campaign. After it's launched, you control the ROAS of the campaign through the daily budget because we haven't set a target. After the campaign's got 30, 40, 50 conversions, you can then set a target return on ad spend, but that is for later. But for now, low budget, maximize conversion value, all good. Targeting. Okay, so this is where we want to add in the audiences that we created before. And it's going to be under audience segments. So let's click into there. And we want to browse. And we want to go down to here, your data segments. And this is where we'll be able to find all the audiences you created in the previous step. Now, this setup flow goes on a one ad group basis. So this campaign setup is going to allow us to create one ad group. And then we're going to have to go back in the campaign, copy paste the ad group, and just change the settings so that we can get the other ad groups we want. So for now, just add a audience for your first ad group, whichever one that is that you want to create. Like in this case, I might add in my cart visitors, my cart abandoners audience, and then now I will be creating my cart abandoners ads group in this campaign setup flow. And then later, after I've created the campaign, I'll have to come back. I would take my one ad group that I created, copy paste it, and then rename it product page viewers, and then change the audience to product page viewers, and then copy paste it, rename it to homepage viewers, change the audience to homepage viewers. So essentially you just set up one ad group now. So just choose one audience, and then the ad group is going to be that audience. Later, after you've created the campaign, you can do a bunch of copy pasting to create the other ad groups. Optimized targeting. Here's another really important one, guys. Turn this off. Definitely untick this, because the moment if you leave this ticked, which Google has ticked by default. So this is one of those things that I call an idiot tax settings. No offense, but like there's lots of like little settings in Google that by default are switched on, and if you leave them on, you get the idiot tax. which means that you're going to spend a bunch of money wastefully that you didn't mean to spend. And this is one of those idiot tax settings, because this would turn your retargeting campaign into a cold traffic campaign. Optimized targeting means Google's going to use the audience data within that campaign and go and try find new people that might convert, which is all well and good if this was a cold targeting campaign, but it's not. This is a retargeting campaign, and we want retargeting in a dedicated campaign. So no thank you, Google. Definitely turn this setting off, guys. Optimized targeting is off. And that's all we need. We need our audience, one audience segment from the bunch we created before. We need optimized targeting to be switched off. Okay, let's go into ad creation. You want to add in your final URL here, which can just be the home page, because like a lot of the time your ads will actually drive through to the product page because it's your product feed that is driving the ad. Put your business name in here. You can add up to 15 images here. So I recommend you just fully add out all 15 images and get a variety of images added. So let's just quickly do this and add a few examples here, just to show you, okay, some of them it doesn't like. So I'm just doing this quickly so that my tutorial doesn't take forever. Add up to 5 logos as well. And videos, if you've got videos uploaded to your YouTube channel, you can add them in here as well. So we've got a bunch of influencer videos in this case, so let's add those. You can do up to 5 headlines, and I recommend you do all 5. Let me just refer to my cheat sheet here. So here's one I made earlier, kind of thing. So we're going to fill this out. Okay, so now I've filled out all my headlines and images. You want to use a variety of different headlines here, and I would really focus on the headlines, the 5 headlines here, above long headline and descriptions, because the headlines here is what is going to be shown more often than anything down here. Like, this is a product feed driven ad format, and it's just using one headline. Product feed driven images, just one headline. So there's like thousands and thousands of different ways Google can build the ad, and it dynamically creates the ad based on what it knows about the user, i.e. what stuff they were browsing on your site, and it might select one of the headlines in there. It's much rarer for Google to build ads based off of the images you put in here and based off of these descriptions and long headlines. I mean, it does happen, but I would say that the dynamically generated stuff, like this one here that just uses product feed images, oftentimes it'll have the prices in here as well. But this type of ad that only uses one of the 5 headlines is the most common. It's like maybe 80 to 90% of your performance will be coming from this kind of thing. And then the long headline and descriptions, which would be used to build what's called responsive display ads. Yeah, they're used, like maybe 10 to 20% of the traffic is going to come from them, but it's kind of lower priority. So do add these in, do add them in well, but really you want to make sure your product feed is really good, because that's what drives a lot of the performance here. Okay, so once you've done your ads, oh yeah, so some tick boxes here. Use auto-generated videos. That's fine to leave it ticked if you added in videos already, because I've added videos here, so it's not actually going to auto-generate videos. If you haven't added videos and you don't want Google to auto-generate videos for you, then you can turn that off. The auto-generated videos are a bit rubbish sometimes. These other ones use asset enhancements and use native formats. I recommend you leave those ticked. URL options, you want to put in your tracking options here if you are using tracking templates. And then once we're all happy with everything here, then we can go into the next phase. And now we're going to review our campaign. So now you can just review all the settings, make sure you're happy with it. And as noted, you're just going to be creating one ad group. And I recommend you name your ad groups after the audience. So we created the cart abandoners. In this case, it was 30 days audience. So that's the name of the audience. That's the audience that we created. So we name the ad group the same thing. Publish the campaign, and then you're going to go back into the campaign and copy paste that ad group to form your other audiences and ad groups within the campaign. All right, so we've covered how to actually build out your retargeting campaign. Now let's dive into some pro strategies you can use to make sure you get the biggest bang for your retargeting bucks. Number 1 on my list, segment your audience for maximum relevance. This first strategy is all about audience segmentation. To get the best results, you've got to create specific audiences for different types of visitors based on what stage of your website they got to. Let me break it down for you. First, we have cart abandoners. These people are super high intent. They were this close to buying but didn't complete their purchase. This group will be the highest converting group within your retargeting campaign with the best ROAS usually, but it's also usually quite a small audience compared to the rest. Because of this, I recommend using a longer time frame for this audience, from 60 to 90 days at least. The higher the price or consideration phase of your product, the longer this audience can be. In some cases where my client has an expensive product that has a really long consideration phase, I might even let this group go all the way up to the max of 540 days. Next up, there are product viewers. These are visitors who looked at specific products on your site but didn't take any action with regards to actually buying something. For these people, the fact that you remembered to attach your data feeds when setting up the campaign is going to work wonders here, because it is then going to show them the exact products that they had been looking at on your site within the ad. They will thus be receiving a regular reminder about that product they were interested in, leading to eventual sales for you. This group is usually the next best converting group after cart abandoners, and I recommend a time length of 30 to 60 days here. Now let's talk about category page viewers. These are people who browsed specific product categories on your site, but they didn't look at individual products and they didn't buy anything. For example, someone might have spent time on your winter coats category, but maybe they didn't click on a specific coat. These guys typically have lower intent to buy than product viewers, but are still pretty good to target. I recommend a 30-day time frame for this group. We also have homepage visitors. This group is a bit broader and sometimes less committed because they didn't go deeper into your site, but that doesn't mean you should ignore them. Homepage viewers is the audience in retargeting that has the most variable performance. For all the other audiences, I am confident that they will almost always work to a good ROAS. But homepage viewers can be a bit tricky and they can vary depending on a few factors. So what I recommend here is start out with a 30-day time frame as a base place to start with. But if performance really struggles, you can try shortening it to 14 days, 7 days, even 3 days in some cases. The times when I see that we need to shorten the time frame for homepage visitors is usually when we're running a lot of top of funnel traffic on, say, Facebook, YouTube, or cold traffic Google Display Network. In these cases, sometimes you get a lot of people going to your homepage, but they bounce pretty quickly. They were maybe just lightly curious, having seen the top of funnel Facebook ad, for example, and then when they went to the homepage of the site to check it out, they realized it's not really for them, and then they just bounced. It's in cases like these where shortening the time frame for homepage visitors' audience can be a good idea. Finally, let's talk about previous purchases. These are people who have already bought from you, and they're one of the most valuable audiences. With this group, you have an opportunity to cross-sell or upsell different products. For the time length here, I recommend setting that based on your data. For example, if you know you get lots of repeat customers, typically within the first 90 days, but after that they are much less likely to repurchase, then set your time length here to 90 days. When you segment your audiences like this, your ads become way more relevant, and the more relevant your ads are, the better they'll perform. Number 2 on my list, use personalized dynamic ad creatives. This next strategy is absolutely critical. You need to attach your product feed to your retargeting campaign. Here's why. Dynamic ad creatives pull product information directly from your feed, things like images, names, and prices, and automatically create personalized ads. For example, if someone looked at a red handbag on your site, the dynamic ad will show them that exact handbag, maybe even with a discount or a reminder about free shopping if you've added those options into your copy. This kind of personalization drives far better performance than static ads where you're stuck showing the same generic products to everyone. So make sure you attach your Google Merchant Center feed. It's not optional if you want your e-commerce retargeting campaigns to succeed as much as possible. This is why I stressed during the tutorial section that you need to fill in that section where you attach your feed. This is critical. Most of your spend and performance in your e-com retargeting campaign is going to come from dynamic creative. Meaning, most of the time, when Google shows an ad here, it's going to be based off of your product feed and may at most use one of the headlines you entered in that asset section during the campaign setup, but probably not going to use the images and videos you manually entered there a lot of the time. The images instead will come from your product feed, so it's important to attach your feed and have a high quality feed. Your feed quality determines the success of your shopping ads and your retargeting ads, essentially. Now, before I jump into item number 3 on my list, I just want to let you guys know that I have a course out that teaches you how to profitably scale your e-commerce business using Google Ads. The course is totally free. Just click the link in the description below this video and get access to the free course. In the course, I cover the biggest and most important campaign type, Performance Max, for you to focus on. I show you how to build it out, and I cover the top most important things to focus on and optimize to ensure your e-commerce campaign sees a sky-high ROAS on Google Ads. Check it out. I think it'll be really helpful for you. Link in the description below. And now back to our meat and potatoes for the day and item number 3 on my strategy list. So item number 3 is add high-quality assets. When dynamic ads pull product information from your feed, you still do need to attach high-quality assets to your campaign. Things like the headlines, descriptions, images, and logos. Here's how to get it right. Use clear, high-resolution images of your products. Make sure the product is big in the frame because people will be seeing this on mobile devices. Write headlines that focus on benefits, not just features. Instead of saying stylish office chair, try something like upgrade your home office with comfort and style. Keep your descriptions short and sweet, but make sure they emphasize value. A line like fast, free shipping on all orders works really well. And don't forget to test different combinations of assets to see what performs best. Next up on my list, we have using time-sensitive offers to create urgency. Adding urgency to your ads is one of the easiest ways to increase conversions. For example, you could say, only 24 hours left to save 20%. Or you could say, hurry, limited stock available. Urgency works especially well for cart abandoners or product viewers who are on the fence. It gives them a reason to act now instead of putting it off and potentially forgetting about your site. Number 5 on my list, upsell and cross-sell with custom feeds. If you really want to maximize your revenue, don't forget about upselling and cross-selling. For this strategy, make sure to have a dedicated ad group that targets previous purchases. Then use your product feed to show them premium or complementary products. For example, if someone bought a laptop, you could show them a high-quality laptop bag or a wireless mouse. Or if they purchased a skincare product, you could show them ads for related products in the same line. This is a great way to increase your customer lifetime value and make the most of your existing audience. The last strategy on my list is all about campaign structure. One mistake I see a lot is mixing retargeting traffic with prospecting traffic in the same campaign. Definitely do not do this. Retargeting works best when it's in its own dedicated campaign. Within your retargeting campaign, use a structure where each ad group focuses on one audience. For example, one ad group for homepage visitors, one ad group for category page viewers, one ad group for product page viewers, one ad group for cart abandoners, and one ad group for previous purchases. Now, I have listed here the audiences in order of intent and performance. At the top, we have the lowest intent, lowest performance ad group, homepage viewers. And at the bottom, we have the highest intent, highest performance ad groups and audiences, cart abandoners, and indeed, previous purchasers. For each of these ad groups, you should exclude the audiences lower down the funnel to prevent overlap. So think of this as a sort of website funnel, and for example, for homepage visitors, in this ad group, exclude all the other audiences, category page, product page, cart abandoners, previous purchases. For category page viewers, exclude product viewers, cart abandoners, and previous purchases. For product page viewers, exclude cart abandoners and previous purchases from this ad group. Finally, for cart abandoners, just exclude previous purchases, and for previous purchases, you don't actually need to exclude anyone in that ad group. This setup makes it easier to track performance and allocate your resources where it's going to have the biggest impact. And it also makes it possible for you to decide on different creative per ad group. For example, in your cart abandoners ad group, you may want to add more urgency in your headlines, whereas in your homepage viewers group, you may want to add more benefits and USPs, assuming that your ad groups get enough volume to make this kind of customization worthwhile. So there you have it, 6 strategies to help you crush Google display retargeting campaigns in Google Ads for e-commerce. If you found this video helpful, hit the like and subscribe button for more e-commerce marketing tips. If you have any questions or strategies of your own, drop them in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Remember, retargeting is all about precision and relevance. Nail these strategies and you'll turn lost traffic into loyal customers. And if you'd like to see more from me, then check out this video right up here where I run you through my 3 recommended e-commerce Google Ads campaign structures based on your level of experience. I cover beginner, intermediate, and pro level setups in here, so give it a watch if that sounds interesting to you, and I hope to see you on the next one.